Heel veel schepen liggen te wachten. Oh, dat schip is stil. Kom op. Allemaal hoogbouw, hè? Jongen, jongen. Valt hier mee om met de hand te draaien. Zee loopt niet leeg, hè? Zo de muur raken, denk ik. Wow.
We won't go that close to the city. Oh, it's yeah, been with us since we was in it.
Well, yeah. this is the only place in the American continent where this occurs. You see, Panama is an isthmus, a very small. Recently, he sold it. It's actually a kind of a huge. It includes lofts, and condos, apartments, hotel. Now, Marlin Pacific sailfish. Now that's more records than anywhere else. A Panamanian lady. So he was in business here, in shrimp business. He bought that island, and between filming, I'm sure he came out and spent a couple months there, fishing, swimming, whatever. So that is now being run by, after he passed on, it was bought by a European hotel company. And it's now it's called Taborcillo is the official name, but you can just Google it if you want to spend some time there. It's a cowboy motif. So, certain procedures at a fraction of the price. So that's one of the big things here. And just Canadian architect Frank Gehry, and who is in fact is also married to a Panamanian lady, and actually he designed it and built it in her honor. But it depicts the tremendous variety of flora and fauna here in Panama. As you see, it's as there again. Put that on your bucket list if you're gonna want to come back for a longer visit. That is really interesting. You can ask Lance. He's been there and he knows all about it. It's from a captain was bringing the ship in a little bit slower than normal. They can migration of humpback whales. I don't know if it was really dark, so more than likely you were unable to see any. But they're out there by the hundreds and hundreds. So get into quarantine questions, any problems in the health area, and things like that. Then the ship everything checks out, everything the ship is okay for transit. Now on our right here we're passing it's a very small, very old yacht club, the Balboa Yacht Club. And eventually get off and start shopping. Now in a little ways, they locate at the bow and stern areas very dense jungle. It's called the Darien Gap. So for ecological and other reasons, they've been reluctant to open it up, but I would use Uber if I were you. And that the accident on ground, and obviously now Panama is also a Neo-Panamax ships. Minimum in size, but still be able to use the Panama Canal as far as the old locks. Because now we have to go, both ways. We have to talk about the new and the old. So, side up ahead here, forward to the port, we'll be passing. Although I'll be frank with you, every time we go by here, it looks like they're adding more and more cranes. They have the two types of cranes for the Neos and for the Panamax ships. Panamax ships, of course, are smaller. You'll probably see, especially at Balboa, you'll see a couple of Neos there. Hopefully, I'll point them out to you. Okay, the Panama Canal, that's its main asset. The whole world goes through here. It's, for example, as far as flights, so a lot less than Panama. And this is because of the hub.
Handig hoor.
Now there are some nice big container ships there. Some of these ships, if they're Neos, they and there again I'll tell you in a while how they actually calculate to use the canal. But I'm going to give you a good example. So you have a better view now. You see the major ports also. So if you choose to have your containers taken off the ship, it happens backwards. But they say that every time you touch that container, it costs money. Finally, it came out of the water, created this land bridge, and in fact, making it possible for them to point all of that out. Another thing that's kind of interesting is when the VS was going up, it just simply started getting drier and drier. And I do not believe it's ever, like it might be attracting some right now.
Whoa, whoa.
So anyway, it has been rainy these last few days, and more modern hydraulic system goes downhill, so there's no pumping. Just hold it until you want it to principle that water seeks its own level. I have not seen it. This is between the locks, comparing. The gates are, in fact, if you look right behind in the stern of that, you slide all the way across, so it's a much less crane. You have to remove them. Very careful process. One is containers, the other one is a natural gas carrier. LNG, what they call it, thing of the future.
It's crazy.
So other commodities, as I told you, containers. The United States exports a lot of that, mostly towards the Far East. Everything shut down. In 1964, a lighting system would have something like a cluster of 8 lamps. In some places 6 lamps. The base, some of the gas carriers are being allowed to go at night. But as I make a very tight schedule, things sometimes happen. Something that wasn't. On the other end, we don't see not much at all. The taller building is the control tower. This is already talking a lot about it. Now, folks, I wanted to make a little announcement here. When you have a picture with her, she's very sweet and open to having pictures taken and all that. So that is midships, deck 9 by the pool. And you can take a look at all the other things they have for sale there. So don't miss it. Latin America and the Caribbean of the United Nations. Okay, now our case should be 8 locomotives, 4 in front and 4 in back. Each one will extend 2 1-inch steel. When they go under tension, if they break, they're really dangerous because they have a tendency to swing around. Separate winches, and they are under the pilot's instructions. Once in a while, and they were kind of strange. New ones were designed, a world tender held. They're really very good. They've been here quite a few years now, and it was a joint effort. They're called messenger lines. They don't really actually touch the cables. Once that's done, they get the signal, and the line handlers on board will start pulling the cables up. The cables are like a company to do business aside from the of course, putting the ship through.
De hele pompiers staan klaar.
Ja, zo in file.
No, it would not run it itself. Type something like Disney World, but it'd be aquatic in the legs of the canal. It'd be a fabulous thing. I imagine great big slides and things like that. So that is all. Sometimes it was used for emergencies, but actually, personally, I haven't seen it in use in quite a while.
Een gatvogel.
Maybe once we're moving, I can do a little video. That's not tired.
Got it.
Hij is aan de recorder hoor. Ja, ik zie het. Vlakbij de...
Omhoog zo, en kijk hier, Panama Canal. Hij loopt.
Ja,
Leuk.
lukt.
Goed ervoor, zo.
Now the maximum draft, that's the part of the ship that's inside of the water. The maximum draft here is 30 lock, the new locks, it's up to 50 feet, but go down maybe probably 8, 10, 12 inches. So a ship has gone overdraft and it's not safe to take them through. Some of them because they're designed in front, that's a little way, and they anchor it. Maybe they try to trim it a little bit or do other things. But as I said, in a few cases I've seen them turn them around. Cameras located in different areas of the canal. Here at this lock, it's the look forward to the right. You might see a communication tower there. And it has all kinds of antennas and all the equipment. But right at the top are the website. Or if you're roaming, as I said, there are 4 providers. They all use the GSM system. That's along with the SIM card.
Oh,
Now
ja.
in our case, as I said, we're not a heavy draft ship. So once we get in, they'll close it, and then there's 100 holes, 4.5 feet in diameter, which spread throughout the bottom of the chamber. The water comes up evenly and then and only then can the gates be opened. The operation for this lock takes place from the building here on the center wall. Upstairs inside there is a replica in miniature of the whole lock. The operator has to turn these handles, great big handles, and put in was a double system of gates. In some areas Now the canal covers 144 trade routes, one of the main ones. That's the largest. So as I was saying, I'm sure they were anxious to come in and see a beautiful cruise ship go by. So I think they usually open it at 9, but until we're at equal with the chamber in front. That one goes down and we go up. They come together. There's a seal, metal seal, the alarm, and we'll move forward to the next chamber. So they have these, of course,
Here we go. Gaat moeiteloos, hè?
Well, if you look off to the left there, you might see the other Neo that we saw, Evergreen Line. That's one of the bigger, amongst the largest of the shipping companies. Merck's, there's one called Merck's. I haven't seen any of their ships today, but they usually put through 2 or 3 a day. That's the largest in the world. It's a Danish company. Now let's talk about the records and all that. The largest.
You need to plug that thing in.
So we're now at 27 feet above.
She's gonna get my phone. I think hers is getting ready. She's used all her.
We have a better view. We continue moving into the chamber. We're going to repeat the in front. A lot of persons have the impression we just opened them up or too low. You see, it is dark because inside of the locks there's not only where the water flows, they have these service tunnels. There's people down there working as we speak. And the rains never hit here. As far as earthquake, tremors once in a while, but nothing per second. That was not enough. The levels still kept going up. Now, by opening the culverts in the lock, they put out an additional, sort of did the trick, and the levels started to normalize.
Ziet hem stijgen. Dan gaat hij regelen.
Good place to be.
We find it, they cost thousands of dollars. And if this is, if it's gold, there you have it.
Dit is vanuit de hut. En dan kijk je zo naar achteren. Nu regent het opeens. Oh jee.
India. Now, because playing it and every land in the church is an annual scale. This is the largest real estate plane.
Thank you. Volgens mij zit het niet bij kanaal.
The runway was terrible. So what they were trying to do.
En wie zit daar? Josie.
Ontbijt.
Ontbijt.
Op ex met gerookte zalm.
Oh, maar een stukje door de raam heen. Nieuwe brug. Lijkt al stukken sluisbuur. Dan kijk je omhoog en dan zie je hier wordt hier het nieuwe kanaal. Hoger dan de onze. Net iets meer dan een halve meter. Hè? Jones. Dat wist ik niet. Ik dacht het Noordzeekanaal. En zo ligt je in een lichtstoel. December regenseizoen.
way back, it was 300 feet wide. To make this two-way traffic. You see right now, eventually
We gaan nu de kat in.
quite a lot of coming and going flag there.
Eenrichting verkeer.
Officially opening it, but there are plans to go ahead. So anyway,
Dan gaan we op 6 kijken nu.
this was the heading. It's been called Gold Hill. That comes from French era. You remember I mentioned that what keep it private to sell stock, like steer 215, 20 or whatever. Safety. Say half a head, the whatever covers the covering, and we'll go ahead and use those. They have a very sophisticated lighting system also. It's you see a light, you're heading in the right direction. Because this is more important during the night. But so anyway, we had mentioned about the slides. We had mentioned we do have a group of geologists, and they are constantly checking. Let's say they find a crack, or it wasn't there before, and to prevent erosion and a possible larger slide. So what they do. And during the widening of the project, they did that a lot. But it still kept sliding in.
Landslide.
We're about 3/4 of the way.
Is that what we see on TV? I'm the shade up there.
Zwaai eens even. Nou, gaat die van harte, hè?
So nature fought the builders at every opportunity, putting up several lines of defense against them. We've already mentioned the slides, ground being very, very unstable because Panama was underwater for such a long time. That's up ahead there where you see that bridge. That's the Chagres River. Now that had a tendency to swell very. So in a special ceremony in the White House of getting water in there. So they were able to try them out. They had no idea what would happen. And boats
vervangend is van de
usually
Riega.
have 4 drills, and they bore down. Then on the other end, it pumps it out to wherever they over a hill and maybe fill up a gully or something like that. No, that was a artificially created hill. And now this is considered the midpoint in the Panama Canal. And this is where the pilots officially shift responsibilities. They
Maar,
do their part and get off.
bij gevangenenmail.
And then there should be also a stern pilot working at the locks only,
Gevangenen.
feeding information as far as the distance. Kings Point and places like that. Others from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. And as their steps go up, they have, or they can take through bigger and bigger ships. Now, more recently, they have added
Thank you.
nuclear subs that come through here once in a while. Those would be a step 11, but with maybe a ride through with one of the other pilots that has already done it. So it's really not as simple as you might imagine. Boats, they have these big barges, 1,000 cubic yard barges. But probably the most interesting thing is the crane, the big crane. And what there were, as I said, there were 4 of them. One of them sank in the bombing of Hamburg. The other, and one to the former USSR. This one was brought to Long Beach. Nickname for it there, but I won't mention it. But anyway, the job is the removal of the lock gates when it's time for their maintenance. Remember I told you, they pull them out periodically. Well, actually every 20 years. They have about 1 million movements, big bird chart they have. And then they take them to an industrial area where they're sandblasted and inside and out, and put in the new seals, new bearings. When they do come out, they just came out of the factory. Anyway, that's what it's used. I have 64 square miles, the shoreline of 1,100 of the Chagres River. So imagine there was a river, a valley, there were the hills on, and so this flooded, became a lake. And of course the hilltops, some quite large, but it's on the banks, you are going to be disappointed. Absolutely, positively, no construction institution got a piece of one of the islands, ecologically oriented. There's no big construction. We're going, I told you this morning, a little while ago, that we would be meeting the ships. People were saying, well, no ship, what's going on? We'll be, and after that, there'll be a whole bunch of them.
On the side, right, cutting across, you stay further back.
Say where all the animals, where the jaguars, where's all that? But at the Gatun locks, the last lock, around 135. Might be a little bit after that, but at least we have a pretty good idea.
Very nice. Katoen weer. Even voor katoen. Oh nee, katoen. De overkant. Dat ik zie zien wat het is. Oh ja. Ja. Ontzettend een mazzel met het weer vandaag. Hè. We kijken mooi blauwe luchten. Af en toe een beetje regen, maar het regent hier heel veel. Dat is hier prachtig. Knutsen. Hij wordt geduwd, zie je dat? Ja. Geen idee wat dit voor boot is. Oh. Daar gaan we ook heen. Ja, daarachter ligt het grote meer als ik het zo zie. Een zeer palmboompje naar het toe, ja.
to have winter in Arizona. But my favorite place along is Washington. Oh, it does tend to be more expensive. At any kind of cost. Like one lady said. Fair enough.
And we drive down, $26. It's time to come home.
When you're at, yeah. So, why would you come on a cruise right before you came away?
Happy way, happy life. We may do a beach.
De eerste komt op. Oké.
Its own name. I do want to point out, remember our friend the Evergreen this morning. If you look just to the right there, you'll see.
Take so many and then look at them later and say, I didn't need 15 pictures of that boat.
Right.
You know? I tried to get a little closer and get another picture here, and then I want to run to the back and see it from the back.
Wij naderen de
Watch it from the app and
katoensluizen
see the gates closed.
om een paar kilometer te gaan.
At least that's my plan, but you know how my plan goes the last.
And that's the one I was telling you about, was fully opened during that crisis period where it was raining so hard. And it's definitely, it was like Niagara Falls. So much mist, you couldn't see those hills or basically nothing, you couldn't see anything. So that's 150 million cubic feet going through per minute. And
These are the jets.
De dam.
And the other ones are way over, right?
formation of earth and rock, the Gaillard Cut. And they created the largest artificial lake in the world, which we've just gone across. Artificial lake in the world is in Ghana. It's called Lake Volta. It's 5,000 square miles.
Wasn't this morning. This morning it was so humid when I took the camera out the first time. I couldn't.
Ja. Een beetje zwarte rook komt uit dat ding vandaan.
Ja. Ja.
Maybe you'll be able to appreciate it a little bit better. Now, for the opening of the canal, they wanted to be a grand opening. All kinds of plans were being made, and amongst the plans the first ship to go through would be one that would be met by an honor guard of warships.
Even een schip.
Their guns
Tegen
blasting,
kranen.
firing the Panama Canal open. Four ships were canceled. The passenger ship was canceled. The exposition is not breezy too much, but the breeze it actually gets.
Mooi opgelijnd. Al een flink stuk gezakt. Het andere schip. Oké.
Yeah, this only been joined. See green up there.
Dit is vanuit de hut. Dat is iets te warm voor op. Dan moet je heel bloed eten. Even er overheen hangen.
Closed, but the lateral ones are open, and you'll be able to see the water as it bubbles up from the bottom to the 100 holes. And it's once again about 26 million gallons being transferred in 8 minutes. Now the new locks transfer a little bit more, transfer about 32.5 million gallons. So here I don't like to use the word lose, but it's utilized for a purpose to put a ship. The others, the new ones, of course, use a little more, or put out a little more to each end. But in the new ones, they have put in these what they call water-saving basins. Those are like side.
Final van.
So they were relocated and removed to brand new tube. There were also thousands of seedlings planted to make up for the ones that had been cut down for the new ones. Also, the Smithsonian Institution was put in charge of any relics, things that were there for a very long time. I do believe they did some rescue of that type of.
Oh, dat is leuk. Gaat hij naar beneden.
Move to the second chamber, and it'll be, well, let down 31 feet. Here is 26. Now the two conditions to use the canal. First, short version, what they use universally speaking. And in fact, it is called the Universal Measurement System. It's basically all of this area, things like that, where the passengers are. Okay, where the crew lives, the engine room, the bridge, areas like that, simpler, let's say. And the canal has set up with a ship like this company, I am very, very sure they use the system, and they can reserve this spot today for this ship a year ago. They could have done it a year ago. And
Het uitkijkpunt.
anniversary of the canal. 36 inches long, made for the owner, 76 for the U.S. Naval fiber foil, called the Pegasus. But even in the lake, there's 36 species of freshwater fish, and they'll bite on anything. And the other interesting one is the tar.
Vanuit de hut.
That's all we need. I think that everyone, not even just each
Daar komt al het water uit.
Ja, het laatste stukje door het kanaal heen. Hè?
Ja. Bootjes van de trossenmannen.
Did not mention is that they are, this is a number on the locomotive, but that's the way they do it. So the pilot might say, okay, in one center, slide your cables and release.
Dit was de laatste
And
sluis.
that means that they can do it. We are clearing, well, on the lookout there for the agent launch. All of the lighthouses, that's the question I just got, are operational, and they're used as
Ja, nieuwe kanaal erachter. Ja. Die kun je wel goed zien. Daar gaan auto's overheen, dat lage ding daar vooraan.
Kapitan ng pupusina eh.
They're so happy. Their eyes are so happy.
Yeah, I said to Jim, I said, you know what? I think I give them a happy hour. Right?
Jonesy. Dag Panama, een prachtige dag.